Hey, what is going on, everybody? Today we have a very special video, and it is the release of my Doom War Ultimate Guide. Now, what is that, you might ask? Well, it's basically going to be an all-purpose guide that I have on chapters 1, 2, and 3, including character suggestions to best use for these sections, but also battle tips for each node, as I went back and did every single node all over again. Now, if you are mainly interested in certain sections of Doom War, I will have timestamps in the description below, so you can skip to that if you want to. Also, this will be done in my PowerPoint guide format, which may be unfamiliar to newer subscribers, but I won't be on screen during the video itself as to not block any important information that I want to share with you all. Of course, if there's anything that you feel that I missed or I should add to this, then please let me know in the comments down below. But otherwise, I hope that this is helpful for anyone struggling to get through Doom War. And of course, without further ado, let's get this guide started. Alright, and here we are for the start of the Doom War Ultimate Guide here. Now, as you know, Doom War does unlock after Nexus Chapter 8. This is which requires level 70 plus. I do have a level 70 plus campaign guide which does cover Heroes 7, Villains 7, and Nexus 8, which I will leave in the description down below as well in case you're looking for that. All of these, just like the other ones, are trait-based node requirements, with the exception of Doom War Chapter 3. There is a section where you don't need that. And this currently unlocks Red Skull and Negasonic in Chapter 1, Squirrel Girl and Proxima Midnight in Chapter 2, and Yellow Jacket and Taskmaster in Chapter 3, on top of every chapter having different Gear 14 or Gear Tier 14 minis, which you can farm on these nodes. So this is very important there. My apologies for the clutter of the photos, but hopefully that gets the point across. So let's get started here on Doom War 1.1 to 1.3. Now, this is unlocked after Nexus Chapter 8, like I said, and this is the Hero Mutant and Hero Inhuman only section lane. Now, I think that's interesting just on a side note because they did mention Hero Inhuman, which does make it sound like Villain Inhuman might be a thing in the future. We'll see. So some of the top characters to use for this, obviously, is going to be Black Bolt. He's probably one of the most powerful characters that you can use for this section, but if you don't have him yet, then you can use other characters which are good, like Crystal, Yo-Yo, Shatterstar, and Longshot specifically. Shatterstar and Longshot are a very great duo in the game and are usable in this section as well, which would make quick work of any of these nodes. So if you do have them available, that's a great duo to do. Quake is also available, and any of the Astonishing X-Men that recently came out are also available to use here. Of course, anyone in white basically means they're currently unfarmable as of this video, so do be careful about that. But there is quite a few good characters now that you can invest in if you have them. Alternatively, if you do have Phoenix, you can use her there, but you know, because of the way that she works, you might not get 3-star unless you're using Beast and the other Uncanny X-Men in order to trigger Beast's passive. Otherwise, you could try and use some of the X-Force characters, Cable, X-23, Deadpool, if you have high gear or red stars already on them, but I think some of the characters above are probably a lot better to use. So estimated team power for this is roughly around 200 to 250k, probably less if you're actually using Astonishing X-Men or the Shatterstar Longshot duo, as they're quite good as well. So some fight tips for this section. Doom 1.1, try to keep the Kree Royal Guard alive as long as possible because Yo-Yo's passive, the enemy Yo-Yo, won't trigger. Clear Quake and Ronin early to avoid debuffs, and watch out for Captain Marvel's binary on wave 2 of the fight, as this can do a lot of burst damage and could wipe someone out if you're not careful. Doom 1.2, there's a Toad and Blob duo at the start on wave 1, and you know, Toad can extend any of Blob's passive slows that you might have gotten from counterattacks, not to mention that it triggers taunt on Blob as well. Once you get through Colossus on wave 2, you have to be careful about that because he'll be taunting off some of the Wolverines that get dropped, and the Fastball Special, aka the Wolverine alt team up, does a little bit extra damage there, some burst damage, so you know, be careful about that. And then the final wave has 2 Pyros plus a Psylocke, which can trigger a lot of bleeds, and if you're not careful, then this could probably kill someone off as well, and can be a little bit tough to stay alive if you're kind of min-maxing. And what I mean by that is just kind of like bringing up your characters to the bare minimum to clear this, so do be careful about that part. Now, Doom 1 to 3 is not as difficult, I guess. There is some annoying Miss Marvel taunts, you know, try to get through her, and then of course again there is a Toad and Blob duo on wave 2 alongside Mr. Sinister, who could clone one of your teammates, which could be a bit disastrous depending on who he clones. So definitely try and get through Mr. Sinister as quick as possible. So those are my tips for the Doom War 1-1 to 1-3 section. Now moving on to Doom War 1-4 to 1-6. This is the Red Skull unlock section, which does use Hero, Mystic, or Guardians. Now, some of the top characters to use for this is going to be Thor, Ghost Rider, Heimdall if you're using Thor, Scarlet Witch. You can also use White Tiger, who is new to this, Moon Knight, who as of this video actually isn't out yet, but you know, is going to be a really strong character, which I would consider using for this as well, given that he's a Hero Mystic character. Probably will be a lot better than some of these others, and then Doctor Strange. So I don't actually recommend using the Guardians where possible, because I don't think they're that good, and I don't think it's worth investing in them at this point in the game. But, you know, if you do have them, you can use them, of course, with Star-Lord. I would not use any of the Guardians without Star-Lord. Otherwise, you could use Elsa Bloodstone if you have really high red stars and you're using that supernatural team. Honestly, I can't really recommend anyone else, because I think the supernatural team or a combination of Thor and Heimdall are probably your best bet. Otherwise, White Tiger and Moon Knight when they do come out, and you can gear them up. Estimated team power, again, is very similar to the last section, about 200 to 250k. But if you were to use the Shadowland characters, White Tiger and Moon Knight, I could see this being lower. Moon Knight has a really awesome kit, so if you do happen to pick him up, then, you know, consider gearing him up. Really solid character anyway, so if you're needing to go through this section, I think it'll be easier with him. Now, onto some fight tips for this section. So, Doom 1-4, clear the Doctor Strange and Ghost Rider early so he doesn't bap you in the face with his shotgun. And that's what I call Ghost Rider's passive, is I call it the shotgun bap. Don't forget, there's also Doctor Strange in Wave 2 as well. Doom War 1-5, again, try to clear Ghost Rider early so he doesn't bap you in the face. See above. Use Doctor Strange NPC that you do get to offense down Elsa or Ghost Rider so it doesn't hurt as badly. Also, watch out for the 2 double Lokis that appear on Wave 2. Save your cooldowns to kill them quick so it doesn't run you into any troubles with the mind control. Now, Doom War 1-6, watch out for the Psylocke throwing debuffs back, because there is a lot of potential debuffs if you're using the supernatural characters, and try not to get stuck behind Juggernaut's taunting. Now, on Wave 2, there is a Drax that drops down, so he's going to spawn taunt, and there's also a Sinister who can clone and heal up the enemies. There is also another Psylocke on Wave 2, so once again, if you're using supernatural characters or anyone with debuffs, then be careful of that being thrown back at you and potentially killing you. So that's the end of Doom War 1-4 to 1-6. And moving on to the final section of the chapter, Doom War 1-7 to 1-9. This is the Negasonic Unlock section, which does require the usage of S.H.I.E.L.D., Wave 1 Avengers, or Fantastic Four. Now, some of the top characters to use for this would be Invisible Woman, Thor, Black Widow, Hawkeye, Captain America. Basically, those Wave 1 Avengers plus Invisible Woman, I think, is probably your best bet. Alternatively, Nick Fury, who isn't unfarmable anymore. You know, his event is available permanently, although, you know, his overall usage is a bit questionable. You could use Agent Coulson and Quake and obviously the rest of the Fantastic Four, but I do believe that the characters at the top are probably your best bet, and they're actually going to double back again in Doom War Chapter 3, where you're going to be able to use them again as well. So that's probably a good bet for your investment. Estimated team power for this, from what I understand, is in the 250 to 300k range, and again, Wave 1 plus Invisible Woman will give you the best results. I would probably say, you know, not using Hulk, but making sure that you use at least Thor and Captain America, and then Black Widow and Hawkeye. So some fight tips for this. Watch out for Taskmaster in Doom War 1-7. Taskmaster plus Mark Lieutenant. This is a really tough combo there. Make sure you get them down as soon as possible. And on Wave 2, there's potential AoE damage from the double crossbones. So if you're not careful, this could do a lot of damage. Now, in Doom War 1-8, watch out for the Magneto spawn. This spawns after one person dies, as far as I'm aware. You know, and this could cause some troubles with Magneto's blind ultimate and also bringing everyone together. And there's a Juggernaut as well, and if he charges into everyone, that could do a lot of damage. Try to slow the operators while you deal with them also and kill them. So that's the aim for 1.8, is killing off these NPC operators. Doom War 1.9, watch out for the Psylocke alt. This is common, just like the last section. Depending on what kind of debuffs you're running on your team, this could get those thrown back at you, so be careful. And again, more Psylocks on wave 2 plus a Crossbones AoE, and then more Psylocks on wave 3, same as above. So really be careful about those debuffs and not getting chucked back at you and causing some problems for your team. So those are my guides for Doom War Chapter 1. So let's move on to Doom War Chapter 2. Alright, so here we are with Doom War 2.1 to 2.3. Now this section of Doom War requires AIM, Mercenaries, or Wakandans. Some of the top characters used for this include Scientists. Typically, I would say the AIM plus Shuri combo. Now you could use Scientist Supreme, AIM Security. This is very common with Graviton. Shuri, there's also Taskmaster, AIM Assaulter. Those are some of the better minions, AIM Assaulter and AIM Security. But if you do have AIM Researcher leveled up from Villain 7.1 to 7.3, which did require AIM as well, then you can use them here. Obviously, I would not really recommend too many of the Wakandan characters outside of Killmonger, as long as you're using Shuri. And the Mercenaries, really, I can only recommend Taskmaster out of that. Otherwise, you're going to have the easiest time using an AIM combo for this. Estimated team power roughly around 200,000, and like I said, AIM with Shuri for the best results in my opinion. Now, some of the fight tips for this: Doom 2.1, watch for all of the heal blocks that come from Mordo and Venom. Try to use Scientist Supreme to flip any negative status effects where possible, or AIM Security to chuck them back, which is, I love that about AIM Security. Watch out for Loki on wave 2, who might try and beat you with your own team with the mind control. Potential burst damage as well from Double Rockets and Elsa Bloodstone. Doom 2.2, watch out for the Strife Emma Frost combo. Focus on Emma Frost first where possible. Also another Toad and Blob combo on wave 2. Careful for Blob's passive, the counterattack's slow, does a lot of damage sometimes. And finally, there is a Pyro and Psylocke combo on wave 3. Once again, watch out for Psylocke's ult and those debuffs being chucked back at you, especially if you're running AIM. This is quite frequently chucked back at you. Now for Doom 2.3, there's the first wave does have a Minerva who you're going to want to take out ASAP. There's also a Shuri, but make sure you do kill that Minerva first. The rest isn't too difficult. On wave 3, there is 2 visions. Watch out for some bad ability blocks and Scarlet Witch as an enemy to extend these. Make sure to utilize your Scientist Supreme well for flips with her special, and that'll be really important. Now, moving on to Doom War 2.4 to 2.6. This, of course, is the Squirrel Girl unlock section requiring Hand, Marauders, or Spider-Verse. Realistically, this is actually one of the easiest sections so far, and the top characters to use for this is any of the symbiotes, part of the symbiote team. They have varied farmability currently, with Scream and Anti-Venom as of this video not being farmable, but realistically, if you have them available to you, please do use them. Otherwise, you can use Mr. Sinister, Doc Ock if you have them, other Marauders. It's actually really easy. Alternatively, Electro as well is actually a really good campaign character because of the offense downs. Estimated team power is roughly around 230k, but you're going to get your best results with the full symbiote team if you have them. Now, some fight tips here. Not too many, but in Doom 2.4, there is a 4 Merc Lieutenant that work as operators that you're going to need to be able to kill before you clear this. There's also some Merc Riot Guards which try to get you to get stuck behind those taunts. So make sure you have someone like Venom or Scream or someone that can clear taunts. That'll be very helpful. Otherwise, it's not really that hard, and again, this is the easiest trait lane in my opinion so far. In Doom War 2.5, watch out for Baron Zemo at the start of Wave 1. Focus him down first. Wave 2 has an Invisible Woman, which is, again, another priority focus. But once again, really not that difficult. If you're running symbiotes, you're going to clear this no problem. And Doom 2.6, watch out for Merc Lieutenant's buffs to everyone on Wave 1. There's a Taskmaster on Wave 2, so save your cooldowns to kill him as soon as possible. Otherwise, the rest of the node is pretty easy. This is the easiest set of nodes that Doom War has had up to this point. So yeah, just make sure you use symbiotes or Marauders and you should be just fine. Now, finishing off Doom War Chapter 2, we have 2.7 to 2.9. This is the Proxima Midnight unlock section. It is a little bit tougher. You can use Black Order, Hydra, or Power Armor. Now keep in mind that Thanos is not tagged as Black Order, so you can only actually use the other 4, including Ebony Maw. So top characters to use, obviously Ebony Maw for this section if you have him. The other 3 Black Order, so Proxima to Farm Proxima, Cull Obsidian, and Corvus Glaive. Other good characters to use: Falcon from Power Armor, Red Skull from Hydra, Baron Zemo as well, although I think for 2-9, realistically you want someone like Falcon, Rescue, or Red Skull to get you through 2-9. I think that's a bit easier, but for 2-7 and 2-8 you can use Baron Zemo because he is quite powerful and a lot of people are gearing him up as well. I really wouldn't use the full Power Armor team for this section. It's not great. You know, I just barely, you know, scratched through a 1-star with a 320k team versus what you could get by with a Black Order combo with someone else. So I would definitely take that with a grain of salt, but if you can use the rest of the Black Order and you have Ebony Maw, definitely use them because you're going to need that for Doom War 2-9. Now, some fight tips for this section. In Doom 2-7, there's a lot of Kree minions, so if you do have Baron Zemo, this would work really well here, just cutting through them and getting that disrupt down. There is a Captain Marvel on Wave 2 and a Ronin on Wave 3, but otherwise not too difficult. On Doom 2-8, we do have a Symbiote Spider-Man and Emma Frost combo on Wave 1, so make sure you focus them down so they don't get too many bad debuffs on you. There is a Strife and a couple of Marauders on Wave 2, but overall it's not a very hard node. Now 2-9 is kind of where the difficulty gets bumped up a little bit, so if you are using Maw plus the 3 Black Order, this is the easiest combo because you do get a drop down Thanos NPC, which does become empowered because of this fight in using the Black Order, and makes it significantly easier. Now I would use Falcon, Rescue, or Red Skull as your 5th member. The main objective of this fight is to protect the operative NPC while you're fighting Dr. Doom and you have to survive. So Falcon is really great for the turn bar increase. Red Skull special also has turn bar increase, and Rescue special also has some barrier and regen. Anything to keep them alive or pushing the turn bar further would get this done a lot quicker. So, and try to debuff Doom where possible. He is debuffable, so with Ebony Maw, Proxima Midnight, things like that, you can land some debuffs there. So try to get through that with that team. Otherwise, use some of the suggestions previously. And this gets us to Doom War Chapter 3.1 to 3.3, and this again is probably the next easiest after the 2.4 to 2.6, which with Symbiotes you can use anyone here. So I'm not really going to add too much suggestions here. The 3.3 doesn't really, it just has another Superior Basic Callus. Who knows? Maybe it's a possible future placeholder, maybe not. Top characters to use any of them, so you know, go nuts on this. You know, use who you'd like to use. So I'm not going to really talk too much about this as it's not overly that difficult. Fight tips also not too difficult here because you can use anyone, but there is a Baron Zemo on enemy wave 2, so be careful of that with Doom War 3.1. On Doom War 3.2, you do have a Scientist Supreme on Wave 1, so careful for any debuffs, and then a Graviton and Venom combo, so heal blocks, warnings there, otherwise not too difficult. Doom 3.3 though, there is a Doombot Bonanza, so use any AoE characters that you can to quickly clear the board, you know, of these Doom bots. There's 6 bots on Wave 2 and 4 more on Wave 3. Otherwise, super easy. You can use any character you want your top team, and you should get through this no problem. Moving on to Doom War 3.4 to 3.6, this is the Yellow Jacket unlock section. So for this, it is Avengers or Fantastic Four. So if you remember what I said about Doom War 1.7 to 1.9, which required Wave 1 Avengers or Fantastic Four, well, you get another chance to use them again here. So again, the top characters to use: Invisible Woman plus Wave 1, so Thor, Black Widow, Hawkeye, Cap, possibly Hulk if you have him, possibly Falcon as well, because it's not just Wave 1, it's just the entire Avengers tag. This is very similar to Doom 1.9 in terms of the required characters. Alternatively, you know, you can use any of the rest of the Fantastic Four if you prefer, Nick Fury or Agent Coulson, but realistically I think Invisible Woman plus Wave 1 is going to get you the best results, roughly around 250k I would say. Now, some fight tips for this section. 3.4 is definitely by far the hardest node of the 3. This has Dr. Octopus as an enemy on Wave 1, and this results in basically offense down immunity. And this persists through death. So even if you kill Doc Ock, his offense down immunity still stays. So if you are using Invisible Woman, the offense down very likely won't land, but you still get the barrier that she does with her ultimate. So I would still bring her along here. There is also a Toad Blob Juggernaut combo on wave 2, which can be a bit annoying. And there's also an Electro, so save Invisible Woman's special to being able to clear Electro's offense down. And there are some Rhino and Sabertooth on wave 3. Careful for some extra damage here, plus some additional bleeds that might happen if you're trying to get that 3-star for this level. This was actually one of the last nodes that I actually ended up doing in terms of getting a 3-star, because this specific node on 3-4 was very difficult. 3-5 gets a little bit easier. There is 2 Proxima Midnights that can apply offense down. I believe one uses the special and one uses the alt or something like that. So save your Invisible Woman special to countering this. There's also a Falcon and Symbiote Spider-Man on wave 2. Make sure you focus them down. Specifically, Symbiote Spider-Man can be really annoying, but Falcon's turn bar can also be really annoying if he survives long enough. Doom War 3-6, this requires fighting a Dr. Doom, so on turn 1, watch out for his ultimate bot combo. Quake also is an important focus to avoid potential debuffs. There's also a Taskmaster and Merc Lieutenant Shuri wave on wave 2, so focus those characters as well. But getting through Dr. Doom is probably going to be the most challenging, but he is very easy to crowd control. So yeah, it's not too difficult, just be aware of that. Now, moving on to the final section of Doom War Chapter 3, that is Doom War 3-7 to 3-9. This is the Taskmaster Unlock section. Now, this requires Hero Tech or Hero Supernatural characters. Not Hero Mystic, but Hero Supernatural. Some of the top characters to use, in my opinion, and is the best, Power Armor without Iron Man, and using Shuri in that place. Alternatively, though, you could use Vision, Ghost Rider, Doctor Strange, or Agent Coulson, but I personally don't think that they are as effective as the Power Armor Shuri combo. I managed to get this done personally at 260k. I think you could probably do this lower, though, if you were to, you know, hit your face on it a million times just to get through it. But I would probably look at least 250k before you try and get through this. And once again, Power Armor Shuri is the best combo. I did try to use other characters. You know, I did a Shuri, Vision, Ghost Rider, Falcon, and Coulson combo, but you know, at best I could only 1-star it with 380k team power. So definitely go with the Power Armor section, the Power Armor combo, sorry, if you can. Now, some fight tips for this section. Doom War 3-7, you know, there's a lot of burst damage that comes from double Killmongers, so Ironheart or Shuri's defense up definitely helps here. And there is a Shuri and Cyclops that drop down on wave 2, so make sure you focus that before Cyclops picks up too many charges. On Doom 3-8, there is a Hela and Invisible Woman and Ghost Rider. These are some of the top problems on that node. The debuffs can be cleared by using Rescue's ult if Shuri's special energy lands on her. So this is very important. You can do a turn 1 Rescue ult if Shuri's energy gets thrown up to her, and I think this will make it significantly easier. Utilize the Dr. Doom NPC that you do get as well to have extra bots on the field that'll help you land some disrupts and just do some extra damage throughout the fight. And then on wave 2, try to get your offense down on Hela with War Machine, because this will actually help you take less damage from her Death Knives. There is some RNG involved, though, if Loki gets the mind control off and kills one of your team members, so do be careful of that. That can always just throw a wrench in things. And then on Doom War 3-9, make sure to kill Ghost Rider early so you're not getting passive smacked every time you kill one of the enemies. And make sure to utilize the Dr. Doom NPC by, once again, maximizing your Doom bots. And make sure you debuff the enemy Dr. Doom where possible. The wave 3 Doom bot disrupts your tanks, so make sure you use that to do that. And so really that's all I have to say about Doom War. It is quite a challenging section of the game, but it is very rewarding, and there's a lot of good character shards in there that I think people really need to get. So, you know, don't neglect this, because we don't know when new campaigns are going to be coming down the line that you're going to need Doom War 3-9 specifically cleared to get to the next campaign. So definitely work on that as you can. But some final tips and suggestions that I would give for you guys. With ISOs available now, consider class changing to healer, even level 1, for all the characters that you can use for the campaign, unless you have better, the extra sustain even from the level 1 healer ISO might help you get through the level without dying. When preparing for each section, maximize your power on the better characters and less on the supporting cast. And what I mean by that is for the power armor, for example, put more gear into War Machine, who's a really heavy hitter for you to get through that, rather than the support character that the rescue or whatever. Just enough to get through that without dying. And maximize your resources by only putting what you need into each character and testing it to see if you can clear it or not first, so you don't overly put too much resources into characters. Maybe you don't want to, but you're only doing it just to clear these nodes. And try to gear only the characters who will most likely have longer term purpose, so you're not wasting resources on others unless it's completely necessary. The more meta the character, the less team power you'll need, and you'll feel better about that in the end when you put gear into them and you're using them elsewhere in the game as well. So these are just some final tips that I wanted to give you guys for Do More. I really hope that this guide helps you get through this Do More, whether it's chapter 1, 2, or 3. And of course, if there's anything that I missed, please leave that in the comments section down below, and I will edit this for future versions. And if you are interested in seeing the PowerPoint yourself, then feel free to get a hold of me. You can reach out to me via Discord and stuff like that. That's all of that is in the description below. So thanks everyone for watching. I hope this really helped, and until next time, stay safe, and I'll see y'all later. Boylon signing out.